Start the stream. Yeah, I got some stuff. I did start a script. All right. Looks like we're launching. We're loading.
Okay. Checking the stream.
Checking the stream. Stream seems to be loading. Let me open up the recording software because it would be dumb to do this without recording it.
It hasn't shown up yet on my end.
The stream?
Yeah.
All right,
I see it. It's up.
It's coming. Yeah, it's coming. I can't seem to get Audacity to launch for some reason.
Oh, cool.
Here it goes. Oh, that's why, because it was already running.
Oh yeah, it's going now.
Wow, I have like 16 versions of Audacity, 16 episodes, incidences of
Oh, cool.
Audacity running. Let me fix that. Okay, microphone check, Cody.
Check.
I was going to ask, how's the family, or should we wait till later?
Yeah, let's wait till later.
Okay. You're alive.
I am alive. Somewhat. That's arguable,
yeah,
I guess.
Arguable.
Oh, man.
All right, we've got Joe, Elam, Kilmer, Mark, Jose, John G, Rob. Okay. Let me open up. Let me open up another instance of this.
Yeah, why is it that our sound quality is better when we're remote?
Yeah.
All right, just making a couple adjustments to the notes here. All right, for those of you that are in the chat room, you probably getting a late start, or I'd say late start, based on the fact that we're still alive. Okay. All right, you guys ready?
Yeah, let's do it.
Sure.
3, 2, 1. Real quick, Matt, do you have a volume adjustment on your microphone? Because you're coming in really hot compared to Jose. You're so hot.
Naturally.
Let's be thankful he figured out how to plug in those headphones.
That's why I did the countdown. I was just going to ignore it, and then I thought, So usually on Windows on the bottom right, you can right click on the microphone on the speaker and go to sound settings. And is there an adjustment for your mic? Don't worry about it. We'll be fine. I could see the steam coming out of your ears.
Thanks.
You ready?
Go ahead. I mean, I'm either going to find it or I'm not.
All right. If you happen to find it and can dial down the microphone a little bit, then do it. But if not, don't worry about it. All right. 3, 2, 1. Hey, everybody. It is December 14th, 6:38 p.m. We are live on YouTube. And I say live as a, I don't know, variable term. Matt and I are recovering from the winter expedition, which we'll talk about right now. And Jose is just recovering. So starting with you, Jose, how you doing, man?
I'm good, dude. Just bummed I couldn't make it on the trip.
Yo, dude.
Like, I had to find out, like, at the last hour, like, by the way, I'm not going.
Oh, man.
It sucked, dude. But yeah, I got the old COVID.
Oh,
yeah. That's well. So the deal was, yeah, you got sick and you made the responsible choice to not bring your funk to the rest of us. Which
my wife and my son got it first. So this whole thing started Wednesday when I got a call from my wife saying, "Hey, my mom just tested positive for COVID." I was like, damn. I was just like, damn. Well, that means Damien might have it because he's with her every day. So I told my work, like, hey, my mother-in-law just tested positive, but my son, I have direct contact with my son.
And they were like, get out.
They're like, yeah, go get tested right now, and I'll see you in 2 weeks. Pretty much. So I went to go get tested. I was negative on Wednesday. So yeah, I've been quarantined since Wednesday, and then Letty and my wife and my son, they got tested on Thursday morning, and that's when I was like, I don't know. At that time, I was texting with Cody. I'm like, dude, I don't even know if I should go or not, because even if they test negative, they've been in direct contact with someone that's been positive, and I don't know if that's socially responsible if I go.
Yeah. We kind of made we came to the joint decision that regardless of what their test results were, this is before we knew they were positive.
Yeah, exactly.
That regardless of what their test results were, you were swimming in it. You were close enough to all of it to where it was not a good idea. And I'm glad we made that decision, not because I'm glad you weren't there. We were super bummed. But you ended up getting sick, 2 days later?
Yeah, so Saturday and Sunday, I got really bad. It's not even, I don't know what that means. It's just a flu, man. I don't know.
Well, I don't do well with the flu. I'm a baby.
No, it sucks, dude. It totally sucks. Like, I had body aches and stuff, but I don't know if
body aches. Wait till you're 46. Wait till you're 47.
That's just everyday life for what?
Yes. I haven't woken up without a body ache since 2008.
No, but dude, my legs hurt really bad. Like, I don't know why, but my legs, they were killing me, dude.
And my legs hurt really bad today too.
Like, there hasn't been a day where my legs don't hurt. Yeah, but my son like didn't have any effects. He has a slight cough, but he's still running around. My wife, she's okay. She's doing better now. But yeah, so when we found out on Thursday, they went to go get tested in the morning, and then the results came back positive. Yeah, it was just for sure a no-go. It was going to be a no-go either way, like Cody was saying, because I don't know if it wasn't going to be socially responsible, regardless of what you think about this or not. Like, I still don't want to put that shit out in the universe where I bring it out there and someone does get extremely ill, like borderline death, and I don't want to bring
Yeah,
that
that's
to anybody.
yeah. We don't want any of that madness. And to be honest, you know, if you had gotten sick while you were out there, you would have been just miserable. I mean,
It would have been miserable.
it
Dude.
was
If I would
cold
have got,
as balls in
I'm sure it was,
Arizona.
dude.
It was so cold at night. So and then I didn't tell you this part. So we're talking on Thursday. I think it was Thursday, and you had the table and chairs and the portable recorder.
Yeah.
And you were like, well, maybe Matt can. This is before you got sick. Maybe Matt
Right.
could come over and get it. And I was like, yeah, I'll call Matt and have him swing by. And then I went, no, I'm not going to have Matt go by there at all. Like, I'm not gonna ask Matt to go anywhere near there to avoid.
You know what? I could have been, because my immune system's pretty powerful, and I could have been like Wolverine and just found the cure for that, and then it'd have been over by now.
Yeah, well, I mean, maybe we should get you
But
infected.
we'll never know.
Get you infected and go from there. And yes, in the chat room, Matt is eating dinner for some reason right now. I don't know why.
That's how he keeps his immune system so strong.
Because
He's constantly eating.
never not eating.
He's saying my wife's cooking is
Yeah,
the key.
If you can handle that cooking, you can handle just about anything.
That's the direction I was going.
Oh, so obviously this is a little bit different than our normal week. So we attempted to interview Kevin Jones, Ultra 4 Jones, out at the campsite. And I say attempted because we didn't have Jose's portable recorder. My portable recorder isn't working, so I need to buy a new one. And I thought I could just connect the wireless mics to my laptop and record it that way, and that didn't work. So we ended up setting the laptop and a phone in front of Kevin at the campsite on my tailgate and just had the conversation. I have not checked the audio yet, but the plan will be that we will put the audio of the recording prior to this conversation. So hopefully by this point in the show, you've heard it.
Dude, that's the one interview that does not want to happen for us.
I know. This is like the third time. We've tried to do it. And you know, the funny thing is, he's the coolest dude. He was so much fun. We'll talk about how much fun he was. So I feel like we're going to have more opportunities to talk to Kevin in the future. But so our plan here is we're going to give a recap kind of what Jose missed. And we'll talk about some of the goods and bads and the highs and lows and shenanigans. And we'd hoped to get a lot more content than we did, like we had talked about last week about getting more content. And obviously
there were 0 pictures.
Well, I'm just talking about audio content. We kept saying we were going to get more audio content, and Matt and I at one point we were going to have everybody come and sit down and try to do this. Yeah. But with the way the microphone thing worked out, I was worried about struggling too hard with it. So what I thought about, and I see some of you in the chat room, I thought about maybe just reaching out and doing a 15-minute call or so with a handful of other people just to get their experience. But we'll talk about that and figure out what we need to do for some additional content. But let's go in chronological order.
Just Shy in the chat
Yes, I know Shy.
Already making the reference that we're all thinking about.
So we're not going to make the reference. We're not going to sell anybody out.
It's all
yeah, we're not going to sell anybody out. So Thursday.
That's campfire talk, baby.
Yeah.
And what happens at the campfire stays.
And we are barely going to scratch the surface of the campfire. Like, there is no way for us to fully recall or recap the things that happen at the campfire. So if you want to experience it, you need to be there to experience it. And one of the
it's true. I can't recall.
I know
90% of what happened at the campfire. And there's a reason.
So
apparently there was a bear at fucking your guys' campsite that opened up the
You're not even here, dude. You're not even here, and you're dropping F-bombs on me? Dude.
Oh, yeah. Dude, the campfire talk, though, dude, that's what I missed the most, like, of not going, was the conversations that I wasn't part of, and the arguments about Jason Priestley's hair, and
yeah. Oh, yeah. It's
it wasn't There was no Jason Priestley. There was some Voltron talk though.
There was Voltron, and I think
I asked who would want to form Voltron with me. It was pretty good.
And wasn't it Tim that said he'd never heard of Voltron? Loser.
Yeah, it was like, dude, it's a giant robot made of a bunch of lions. It's like the greatest thing of all time. He didn't know it.
He's a loser. So I will say this about our trips and the groups that we put together. We've mentioned it before, but it continues to ring true. When we put out a call for this kind of stuff and people sign up, it is the best group of people. It is every time we new people join the group and come on an event, and there's an immediate camaraderie and click. And I think part of it is because if you listen to the show, you know who we are, you know what our personalities are like, and you're either going to enjoy that time, that type of conversation or not. And we have it's what's going to happen here. Here's what I think the problem is. Real soon, this is going to happen. Like, think about
the bars have been set now, right?
No, it's more about like, think about the first time we did an event. It was Matt and I, and then Casey, and then Jose came on. And then Jose came on so much though that he stuck around and became part of the show. And then we do another event, and then and then like Joe K connects with me from high school, and he's part of the crew. And then we do an event, and Mark and Adam they're the regulars that are on the trip now. That's every right. time. Yep. And then next thing you know, we're at the point now where like
Scott's and his family are regular.
Scott has been a regular, but it's to the and Dave and Crystal, and it's to the point now where we're gonna say, okay, maximum 20, and we've already got 18 people that are like regulars. You know what I mean?
In our circle.
In our circle. So we'll have to figure out how to make that work. But it's been it was a great group of people. There was one person we will talk about that. So no, this isn't. We're not going there yet. There's one person where we're sitting there at the campfire talking about some kind of reference to the show, and the guy's like, "Dude, I have never listened to your show. I don't even know who you guys are. I saw a post on Instagram that said I can go off-roading. I registered. I've never heard you before."
Oh my god!
I thought that was the greatest thing.
Hey, but he'll be a listener now.
Oh yeah.
I guarantee.
Oh yeah,
that's hilarious, dude. He really never listened to the show.
Nope, didn't know who we were. One of his buddies, Rich, is a listener, and
Land Rover
Rich, and Rich shared the post about this event, and Billy from Rocklander Project joined us, and he's totally going to be an interview in the near future. He was freaking hilarious. He was. He and Matt could do a stand-up show as the Wonder Twins. That's how funny it was. It was hilarious.
He was great. Rich was great.
Well, so
everybody.
Yeah. Well, so we'll go. Great. So we'll go through the list eventually. Let's kind of go chronologically, right? So Thursday, we plan on getting out of here around 10:00. It was probably closer to 10:30. Matt and I connected here in Fontana, and booked it. I mean, we took no problems, no traffic. We got out there, and Tim was already we were texting and calling, and he was like already out there because I forgot that there's a time change. So when I said I'm going to be out there 2:30, I was planning to be out there 2:30 California time.
Our time.
That was 3:30 Arizona time. So Tim is roaming around the desert at 2:30 Arizona time trying to find us, and we're still an hour late. So he went to the coordinates that we had originally laid out, and he actually went past it because he had time, and he found a sweet campsite. It was kudos to Tim for that sweet ass campsite. And so Matt and I rolled up and jumped out of the truck. Tim was there. And the funny thing is, it was like we jumped out of the truck and fist bumped, and it was like we just ran into our long lost brother. We've known him for 20 years. Like there was zero. It was instantaneous like chat because we've been going back and forth with him on this show for the last 2 years. And then Matt and I went into Walmart and got stuff. And Matt made the comment that we're never going to camp more than 15 minutes away from Walmart from now on. That's just a standard because we went into Walmart every single day to get supplies because we were like, what do you want? I don't know. We'll just get what we need for tonight. We'll buy the rest of it tomorrow.
You have to plan shit. You just, as long as Walmart's around, we're good.
Yeah, it was great. And then Thursday night, several people trickled in, and then set up camp. Sorry. And then by Friday morning, pretty much everybody had showed up, and we had. So we're gonna go through the list right here. We had Mark, Duty Driven Mark, and Abby, Kevin, Ultra 4 Jones, and his wife Mallory, Shy, Richard Lloyd, the Land Rover Rich, Anthony Aguilar and his buddy Tyler, Corey Elliott, me, Gary Kenyon and his wife, Casey and Susan. Susan brought her own Jeep. So Casey, Susan, Zen, Matt, Adam Shanley, Joey D, and one of his friends, Sexy Dave and Crystal, Billy from Rocklander Project, Eric Martinez and his wife Angela, Sergio and little Sergio, Scott, his wife, his daughter, Tim, and Mike from Flagstaff Overland, Flagstaff. So that was the group. I mean, it was a well-rounded group of people. We had so Mark was there in the duty-driven F-250, big ass rig. Kevin came out in his F-250. It's a late 80s, early 90s model, square body.
Yeah.
And after, we'll talk about that, but after watching that man molest the trails in that F-250, I am rethinking my position on full-size trucks. I'm
telling you, dude, that's the way to go.
Oh, man. And I'm driving an F-150 right now. Tammy needs my truck for a couple days, so I grabbed one of the spares from the shop, and I'm driving that F-150 right now. And as I'm driving home, I'm like, this is kind of good. So Shy was out there. We'll talk about Shy because he was the silent rock star all weekend long.
Yeah. He got my special award.
Yes.
Because he was a tactician. I mean, that was just a stock Toyota. What was it?
It was a stock 4Runner. The only thing he had was a roof rack and a cell phone amplifier on it. And and there were times where I was riding behind him, and whoever was in front of him, like we're going through a trail, and you see heads bobbing in the cab, and like the truck bouncing around. And Shy was like a gazelle. He was like what are those ibises? What like those goats that are made to walk on the side of mountains? And he was just tiptoeing through every obstacle. And I'm like, oh, I'll take that route. And my head's bobbing back and forth and beating the crap out of myself. There was not a single obstacle that he didn't make look easy in a stock 4Runner.
Yeah, absolutely. He was a technician.
Yeah.
Or tactician?
Tactician.
Both?
He was a technical tactician. Yeah. Richard was out there in his Land Rover Discovery, which did really, really well. I was really impressed with it. Anthony and Tyler were both in black Colorado ZR2s. Those things were pretty. One of them was a diesel. It was pretty badass. Corey was out there in a JL, first run in that specific JL, and he did great. Gary and his wife were in a Gladiator, similar to Adam. So there were a couple times when I looked at Adam and Gary, like off in the distance, and I wasn't sure which one it was because they both have like a very similar stance. Nice wheels and tires, looked really great. Casey in the Frontier, Susan in her JK, Matt, Adam Shanley in his Gladiator, Joey D in his beast of a JK. Dave, Sexy Dave is no longer ZR2 Dave because he is sexy ass Gladiator Dave. Whoa, I lost you guys both for a second. He is sexy ass Gladiator Dave. And Crystal was there in her JL. Billy was there in his JL. That's the Rocklander Project. Eric and Angela were there in their Ram Power Wagon pulling the Taj Mahal. Like it was the American Conqueror trailer. It was this giant. It was just the coolest trailer setup. Like they rolled in, flipped open some doors, turned on some lights, boom. I was ready to make reservations. Like it was super, super cool. Hold on a sec. Let's see. Then Sergio was there in his jail with his son, Scott in the 4Runner, Tim in his JK that he probably won't have much longer, and then like I said, Mike in his Tacoma. So by Friday going back to last Monday, Jose, when we made the last minute decision to switch the camp area and pick the trails differently. So we decided that the bar wasn't going to be open on Friday. It was only open on Saturday. So we switched again, and we decided to do the bar run on Saturday. And so Friday, we did the town of Swansea. So from our campsite, it was like a mile to the entrance of the trail, and we took a long service road to Swansea. And it was literally a service road. I mean, a minivan could have made this trail. It wasn't. And I got a little bit of shit for it. People were giving me a hard time because there were
stop signs on it. There were 2 stop signs on this trail. So yes, you got some shit for that.
There was a stop sign and a turn sign and a couple other things. But yeah, I know, Mark. It had stop signs. We've already pointed it out. But here's the thing. It was now 12 o'clock California time, 1 o'clock Arizona time by the time everybody rolled in and got ready to go. And a couple people had to run to town real quick. So, I figured let's jump on it and just get out to the town. So we took the service road all the way out to Swansea, which is a cool place, man. I mean, Matt, what were your thoughts on Swansea?
There was a couple of giant holes, right? That was like some kind of old mining or an old mine, but I think from like the early, like from the 20s or something, I'm assuming. I don't know. I mean, I guess it was pretty cool. If there was another route to get there, it would have been better.
There was, but we didn't to get there in time for lunch. It made sense to just take the service road, but I mean, we could have found other trails, I'm sure, to get there.
Okay. I don't see, it would have to be a different trail to get there. And then it was some pretty cool stuff to walk around and look at, I guess. There's some like old trucks, and I wonder how often people go as like a point of interest, to me, the trail we did later on was much, I think the Vampire Weekend trail or whatever that was.
Yeah,
that was fun.
So we hung out at Swansea for about an hour. Everybody made lunch and just kind of chilled and explored a little bit. And then on the way back, we jumped back on the service road for a little bit. And I said, hey, we're going to take another path that's supposed to lead to a more difficult trail called Vampire Mine. I've done the trail to Swansea. I've been there a couple times. I've never done Vampire Mine. When we made
Do you know why they call it Vampire Mine? Are there vampires in there?
Oh, I thought you were going to tell me. I'm assuming someone found a vampire in the mine. Did you see the mine? Oh, you didn't go up. So we'll get to that.
Yeah,
so
let's see how much shit I get in the chat room now.
Okay, so when we made the turnoff off of the main trail to the Vampire Mine, the start of Vampire Mine, it started off pretty cool. It was a nice, cool climb. It had some switchbacks, a couple stair step climbs. It dropped down into this canyon with a really tight turn, and we had to really maneuver some of the big boys through. And once we get everything, it had this down and up thing that we were worried about some of the big trucks getting stuck. And then we get to this point where I can look up and I can see it goes up this hill and then makes a hard left. And I got on the radio and I said, hey, everybody, hang out here. I'm gonna go scout. So I'm working my way up, and I make
dead radio though. Nobody heard that.
I'm making the turn, and I'm on the radio, and I'm like, all right, hey, whoa, everybody, this thing is super sketch. I'm not sure about this. let me go a little bit further. You guys should just hang tight there for a second. I make a hard turn and I'm on a shelf. I'm literally, Jose, there was 1 foot on my right to the mountain and 1 foot on my left to the Cliff of Doom. There was enough room for an F-250 to fit through. That was it. And I'm on the radio going, hey, you guys, hold on a sec. I look down, my radio's dead. I reach over to my bag, I grab another radio, and I turn around, and everybody's already behind me.
Oh, dude.
So now, yeah.
So this is now I'm at the very bottom, and it's like a zigzag up the side of a mountain. I could see all the rigs. I saw where Cody turned the corner. I couldn't really see Cody anymore. I didn't get to see what this obstacle was or whatever. But as soon as he got on, and he was like, I don't know about this, guys. Usually Cody doesn't talk like that. It's like, yeah, we could do it. We could probably do it.
Yeah.
This was like, there was doubt. And I'm like, oh. So as soon as he said that, I saw Mark starting to turn around. I saw the other, he described it as being really tight. And then I saw Eric turn around in the Ram. And it was like, okay. We had to spot them to get them to that point through that little canyon spot. So it was like, you know what? That looks like the 405 on the side of a mountain. That's just a line of cars stuck.
Yeah.
Like, you know what? I'll be the good guy. I'm already the tail gunner. I'll run them through. And then, I got some shit for it later on, I guess. But, Casey still did it. So it's like, well, as long as a Frontier did it.
Well,
and, making it back through, it was much tougher to get those trail whales through that tight spot. Going the reverse way. But it ended up, being equally fun going back the way we came,
Yeah.
It was, a lot of technical stuff.
So going back to my doubt, yeah, you're right, Matt. There's very few times that I've ever said, no, we shouldn't do this. And when I do say it, it's usually not necessarily for my well-being. It's for the people that are following me. I have very little regard for my life and or property, and don't let my wife hear that, by the way. But because I won't push it with her in the car much. She would disagree with that. But as I got up there and I'm looking, there's a lot of people that don't really like the cliff thing. And Jose, I am not joking when I say multiple stories of cliff, hundreds of feet down. I had to get out of the truck at one point and hang on my truck and shimmy over on to the back of the truck to close the door and shimmy back over and hold on to the side view mirror to go scout what was in front of me. And I was like, and I'm thinking to myself, I've got 3 full-size trucks. There's no way. There's absolutely no way these trucks are making it. And I turn around and Kevin Jones is pushing me to go faster. Like he is bombing his way through this trail. And so we're like, okay, it's at this point, there was zero opportunity to turn around, and backing up was even scarier. So
you're committed now.
I'm looking at it and I'm like, we're doing it. And so
there was nowhere looking at it from down below there. That would have been highly unlikely not recommended to back everybody back down. Just what I saw was like, no, you guys are pot committed.
It was, yeah.
You guys better figure it out. Pull out those little max tracks or something and just build yourself a bridge to get to something.
So we did it. So we did it, and everybody pulled together. And so I would go forward and get to a spot and jump out of the truck and help guide everybody through. And then the next person would guide people. And it was one of the coolest trails I've ever done and one of the sketchiest. But the further we went, even though the further we went, the sketchier it got, the more confidence I had that we were going to be fine. The trucks were fine. There were a couple people there that had limited experience, and they trusted us to get them through. So we were guiding them through, giving them spotting them, and they made it through. Crystal did fantastic. Susan did fantastic. A couple of other people, and then Shy went through it like it was a weekend trip to the mall. Like he didn't even care. Yeah, he was like, "What's this? Let's go! Come on!" So it was. We made that trip all the way around, and once we got to the bottom and got out, by that time I was in the back because we got to a point where I got to the bottom of a trail, backed my truck up out of the way, and then ran. Kid you not, I ran my fat ass back up the trail to help guide everybody through, and I thought I was going to die then, and so we got everybody through, and by that time I was in back following Shy. And we made our way back out to where Matt was, or where they were supposed to be. But by that time, that's one thing. Like, we have radios and we're communicating, and I really do appreciate the Joey D and Dave and Casey and the guys that Gary at one point, whoever ended up in the front was like, okay, I'll take the lead, and they did, But at one point coming off that trail, because once you got to the bottom of that trail, you were in a wash and you could take off, but there's still 15 cars on the trail trying to get down. So by the time we got down, we could have gone out and made a right to get to the road, but it was too far. Everybody had already started making the left to go back to where the way we came. So I was just like, screw it, we'll just keep going. And we took that service road back to get back to the road. So we got back to camp, and
you guys went like so. Who was that? It was Mark and Eric, right? In the big trucks. And we weren't sure if you were coming back around this way or whether you were going to keep taking that service around back to, was it Shea Road, right? So there was like two spots. We just picked one spot we thought you guys were going to come out on, which wasn't the right pick, I guess. And then once we realized, because also I had radio issues. You guys weren't able to hear me. And we basically just said, let's just go back to camp. We just continued on that road. We were back at camp in 10 minutes.
Yeah,
because it was like no time.
Because where the trail ended up, it was like a 2-mile dirt road to the actual pavement and then straight to camp. We did a 14-mile dirt road, like 7 miles this way and 7 miles this way to get back to the dirt road. Boom.
Yeah. Well, either way, I guess you guys got some nice sunset footage or something like that. Oh my
God, the sunsets. Like, as we were driving, I was in the back now. At some point, Kevin and I were in the back. And as we're driving and we're going up this kind of hill, the sky was orange. It was Trail Chaser orange. And I'm not saying that to exaggerate. And I'm looking at the silhouettes of the trucks going through, and I'm like, oh my God, I wish I had a camera right now. So I stopped. I pulled over. I jumped out of my truck to take pictures. Kevin parked his truck, jumped out to take pictures. He and his wife were taking pictures, and it was just absolutely gorgeous. And then when we got to the trail end, there was still just a sliver of orange. So Casey and I took a prom picture at the end of the trail.
I was wondering, like, when did you guys take that photo? I saw it on Instagram.
So that was, we're parked. I'm at the front of the trail waiting for everybody to stack up, and Susan is sitting in her car, and Casey walks up to me and she's like, "Hey, you guys get together." So I don't know how, just like Casey and I grabbed each other into a prom photo, and you could see it on Instagram. And we did our full-on prom photo. It came out fantastic. It's gotten quite a bit of traction on Instagram. And then
I'm sorry. Before you guys got back to camp, it kind of leads into the next thing. Is I found there was a trail on the other side of a wash behind our camp. I jumped on that for maybe a mile or two as the sun was setting. Like, it was like beautiful, and it was a really cool trail. Like, there was a lot of step ups and downs, little climbs. It wasn't super technical or tough, but it was fun. And so that was like my recommendation for the next day. Like, it's right behind camp. Let's just wheel that towards town.
Yeah.
So
we got back to camp. A couple people ran into town and dinner started. I think we ran into town that night too. So we went in. This is now our second trip to Walmart. And we made chili cheese Fritos because we're camping in the winter, and that's what I make when I'm camping in the winter is chili cheese Fritos. And then we everybody's doing their thing for dinner, and Jose, how that happens, everybody starts trickling into the campfire, and it was cold, and I've learned especially after like the last 2 winter expeditions. I bring my snowboarding gear, and the minute I can feel the cold through whatever it is I'm wearing, that's my indication that the next layer is required. So by the time I finished dinner, I had pants, thermals, sweatshirt, snowboarding shirt, a snowboarding jacket, snowboarding pants, and Vans and a beanie and a hood. And that was for the rest of my night. Like, I'm not going to get cold because I feel like I can never warm up. But some people used internal warming mechanisms through liquid consumption. And so we get to the campfire. And for those of you that are in the chat room that know where we're going with this, please let's keep this as anonymous as possible. I feel like we need to tell this story, Matt, but in a way that is. Do we need to tell this story? What are your thoughts?
Well, I mean, there's nothing. It really was like a highlight of the trip. One of my highlights, anyhow. And I don't know. We all know, the people that were there. I don't know if we just only talk about it once we all get together and we can go, oh man, remember that. And it's set. I mean, I guess we can say that somebody went home the next day. And I kind of felt bad about it.
Yeah,
like,
I didn't.
Oh, man.
I didn't want them to go home. So
no.
At some point,
Oh,
so
and it's like,
Jose, here.
You know what?
Here's
this is, in my opinion, it's because he was embarrassed. I've heard otherwise, but
he shouldn't have been.
Exactly.
So
I've done dumb shit like that all the time. I do shit like that.
Yes,
that's what I do.
Sounds like welcoming into the Trail Chaser Society.
Okay,
yeah.
So here's what we'll do. We'll go high level. So early in the evening, everybody had dinner. Everybody was sitting by the campfire, kind of drinking, and he had asked one of the couples, like, "Hey, how long have you guys been together?"
You know what? Hold on. Mark is dead on right here.
I know. I saw it.
I feel that experience brought the whole camp together. It really did.
It did.
Like, everybody had their own input on it, So again, I wish.
Ah, fuck! I can't believe I missed this shit.
Come on, dude.
You did, dude. And there's also. So I took video of some of it too.
So you'll be able to see the video. So when we tell this story,
for Jose.
Yes,
I'm saving that for Jose,
and then we'll delete it. And
yeah, exactly. It's never gonna be posted or
no. But the thing is, if we were able to go into great detail about the story, you would not believe that it actually happened. You would say no way. So here, I'll give my politically correct censored story. So early in the evening, we just got back. We had dinner. Someone had asked this couple, "Hey man, how long have you guys been together?" And they were like, 15 years. And he's like, "Oh, F yeah, man, that's the effing best thing in the world."
Like, over the top,
over the top, excited about it, right? And he said, "Well, how did you guys meet?" And they said, "Well, my cousin introduced us. They knew him. He introduced us." Mm-hmm. That's the greatest effing story I've ever heard. That is such a fantastic story. And we're all kind of like, that wasn't even a story. I mean, people meet all the time. And then Casey happens to be standing there with a White Claw, and this person says, "Is that a White Claw?" "Yes, it is. I've never had one of those. Can I have one?" And Casey's like, "Sure you can." Well, apparently, whatever he was drinking prior did not mix well with the White Claw. And
Tim was upset that you didn't show up because he brought you Coors Lights and White Claws.
Yes, and White Claw.
I have both of those in the pantry that I haven't even opened because they were for the trip.
So he starts drinking the White Claw, and I think Casey ran out, and Tim was like, "No worries, dude. I got a whole case that I brought for Jose." So rather than
and Walmart's right down the street.
So rather than Casey going to Tim's Jeep to get a White Claw, he went and got the case and brought the case of White Claw back. And so my understanding is most of the White Claw was consumed, And then super late in the evening, one of the other participants was like, "Who wants to Patron shots?" And
Oh my God.
Yes.
so
that was the wow.
so
That put the hammer
and-
down.
and
that
what
was Sergio.
I wasn't
It's
gonna
like
name him.
Oh,
But-
well, you'll be naming everybody else.
I have not. I have not named
That's
one
when,
person.
That's when the night went into fifth gear, huh?
So,
It's like, all right,
so,
here we go.
so apparently Sergio has a heavy hand. My brother said, and it was not a shot. It was like a
It's like a drinking
12
glass.
ounce shot of Patron.
It was a schooner. Yeah.
So apparently, so now the Patron gets in the mix, and so whatever beer this person
Now
had.
there was a fight or something.
Oh. So apparently, so now it's late in the evening, and you mix the beer plus the White Claw plus the Patron, and this person starts recalling parts of their life that they want to share.
So good. So good.
So, and I only know this because I saw the video. Because I was asleep at this point. It was 10 o'clock. I went to bed early. I went to bed at 10. And so apparently this person went on to tell a story about a time in their lives where they found themselves in an establishment where women dance for money. And in the process of dancing for money, some of them would allow patrons to
insert things
to feed them gummy bears, but not in the direction that you would think.
Oh man.
That's why Matt fucking hashtag gummy bears.
So apparently you could insert gummy bears in an exit only portion of the human anatomy, and
Yeah, it's like chugging a beer through there. It goes straight to the
straight to
bloodstream.
the digestive system, and it became this story about how many gummy bears you could fit.
It wasn't just the story was great. It was how he was telling it.
Oh,
he was super
over the
pumped
top
about it.
excited
he was
about
just
it.
Like hand gestures and then he's calling people out like, but I'm telling you, Matt, you gotta hear, like, yeah, dude, I'm totally enthralled. I'm listening. Keep going, please. So good.
So it was.
Yes, 7. I think that's important.
It was 7. He was adamant that the number was 7, and not just 7 innocent gummy bears. Right? He said innocent gummy bears like 5 times. And then everybody you could like everybody was in shock. Like, what is this story about, and what life was this? And so it went on for a while to that story and multiple other stories about gummy bears and what have you. So
Oh fuck,
dude, you got to stop.
sorry.
I've got like 5 of them already. So apparently, right around 3 o'clock in the morning, 3 o'clock in the morning, this person got up, tripped over the fire, face planted in front of one of the tents. And Matt and Tim, which you need to reevaluate your life if Matt and Tim are picking you up and helping you get home.
Who else was going to pick you up at that point? That time of night?
So apparently Matt and Tim.
It wasn't just me. It was who else was up?
Was
that late?
Billy? I think was Billy up.
I think it was Billy and maybe Rich.
Oh yeah. So the group, we'll say the group, picks him up.
Yes.
And basically walks him over and pushes him up into his into his rooftop tent.
Yeah, you're giving.
What? I'm just saying it's a tent. It's a tent. There was a tent involved. There was multiple rooftop tents involved there.
Okay, that's true.
So at this point, the group is like confident that the dude has either passed out or died. And they don't have to worry about
he's not going to die of cold, being cold. At least he's in his tent at this point.
So,
but I don't know. It was that cold. Like I don't. Either way, I guess people heard him up early in the morning.
Well, so that was roughly 3 o'clock. So then at 4 o'clock, people heard him removing his intestines from his insides, just
Yeah.
horking, just ralphing to a point where it said someone said they thought he was giving birth to a grizzly bear. That's how bad it was. It was so. I didn't hear any of this. I was asleep at 10,
No.
and I always when on these trips, I always put earplugs in before I go to bed because I know how late you guys stay up. So think about this: 4 o'clock in the morning, drinking till 3, face plant. 4 o'clock in the morning, horking. I'm up at 7. He's gone. Disappeared. No sign. Vehicle gone. Campsite broke down. Disappeared. And we're all trying to figure out what the hell happened.
But it wasn't just I know what happened, or I have a good idea what happened. It was just I want to make sure he was okay.
Yeah. Were you guys able to contact
So I
him?
did. So I did text and hey man, are you okay? And I got a response that he was okay, and so I felt okay with that. But it was Rich's Shy is saying that he left at 4:30. So, but here's the thing: like the sudden departure after that performance opened the door for all kinds of conversation about what happened, and there was no like, is he okay?
Right.
Where did he go? Like we were thinking about driving around the desert to see if we can find him. I was legitimately concerned about his well-being.
Yeah, especially drinking that much and going to bed that late.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
exactly. I'm hoping he got a hotel or something nearby, or just camped.
Yeah,
just a
went
few
someplace
miles down a trail or something.
Adam is saying that he texted him too. So the good thing is that the dude was good. I have open invitation for him to come back on the next run. I think he was the pillar of entertainment that night. Like everybody was riveted. Like we could not believe these stories, and I was bummed to see him go the next night. But it was so you saw gummy bears, you saw all the hashtag gummy bears and the pictures of gummy bears, and I'm Sunday there was a group chat with all of us on Sunday. I was getting chats, images of people bought gummy bears on the way home. Like that's
hilarious, dude.
It was a crazy night, and that was just night one. Essentially, well, I guess yeah. So we wake up the next day. We decide we're going to go on the desert bar. My original plan was to take the road out and around and come in onto the desert bar, and Matt made the point that he found that trail, and I'm super glad that he did. So we took off right behind camp on a trail that was really cool. I mean, for several miles, it was a really cool, scenic, beautiful trail. And then we got to a point where it kind of switched back. It went towards the road, and then right at the road made a U-turn and went back out. So I'm in the front.
Did you guys leave your camp setup? Like
yeah.
At the
yeah.
We just told everybody that we're going to leave camp and go. So if you've got something important that you don't want to get lost, either take it with you or find a way to lock it up.
Yeah.
So you
guys had no issues with that?
No. And where we were parked, I mean, where we were camped, there was some traffic going out to like Swansea Road and some other things, but we were so far back at that point that like the only people coming back there were people going to the trail. Like it wasn't like something that we were right next to a road, but it wasn't a road that was traveled by people. You had to be going out there, and the only people going out there were side by sides and quads, Jeeps, whatever.
Yeah. All right.
So we took this trail behind Matt that Matt found. And like I said, at one point it veered towards the road, and right at the road it made a U-turn and went back. So I'm in front, and me and Kevin and Dave and a handful of us in front are still trying to find this path. And it was uncharted at that point. It wasn't mapped anywhere. And we were hoping that we could find a path all the way to the bar. And then at some point we hear from Matt and them, and they're on the road somehow. So when when we made that veer towards the road, they never turned back because apparently there was a big enough gap to where people didn't know. And we had originally talked about taking the road, so we turn around, jump on the road, and go out, and we take another service road into the bar. But again, at this time, by that time, everybody was ready. Everybody was ready to eat. Let's just get there as quick as we can. And we went to...
Well, there's two ways to the desert bar. There's, because obviously, I think it's Parker, right? So year round, in order to be I would think like a year round venue, you'd have to have, not everybody's going to be out there. Yeah, not everybody's going to be there with their 4-wheel drive.
It has to be like a fire road.
Yeah, it's a service road.
Exactly. So yeah, you could drive a Honda on it. You could drive whatever. So we took that in.
So we take that in. We get to the desert bar. Desert bar was doing it. It was, I've seen it busier, but it was pretty busy for the weekend that we were at, and live band, and everybody went in and ordered food. That's cool. And
I had just one of the most disgusting hamburgers I ever had. Just
what?
Yeah,
my burger was good.
I think there was like 2 spots. I don't know. It was like 2 different grills or whatever. That place was big. It was a big place. And it seemed like everybody that was getting stuff from, like, if you walked in and you went to the right, there was like chicken strips and fries, and I saw all kinds of cool looking stuff coming out of there. I just went straight ahead, and there was just burgers and dogs basically. It was not a very good burger, but
no, I was down on the balcony, like the backside at the grill there, and my burger was good. I had burger and garlic fries, and it was reasonably priced. I mean, they're the desert bar. They could charge $25 for a sandwich, and they don't. It was totally cool. I think
that was true. Yeah, prices were fair, cheap beer.
Yeah, Rocklander. So Billy is saying that the veggie burgers were tasty and safe. And now, knowing that he eats veggie burgers, I don't think he's invited to the next one. We'll figure that out later. We'll have that conversation on the back.
Don't worry, Billy. I'll sneak you in.
Have you seen Billy? He ain't sneaking anywhere.
He ain't sneaking in nothing.
So we all ate lunch, and so I'm going to tell another story for people that will not be named. So there was a young couple there. And as we are in the back parking lot, and I'm kind of figuring out what we're going to go next, this young couple walks through the parking lot, and they have this steeple there. It's like a church steeple there. And I just said, hey, so that you know, I'm an ordained minister, and we can handle this right now. And she says, well, someone has to ask first. And I went, oh, shit. I thought they were already engaged. I totally put my foot in it, and I felt horrible about it. And the guy was like, no, dude, don't worry about it. We talk about it a lot. It happens, this conversation comes up all the time. And I'm like, dude, I am totally sorry. I am totally like, I felt bad. I felt really, really bad about it. And then, there's more to that story, which you'll hear in a little bit. So after we ate, we decided to go out the opposite way that we came, which I'd been on this trail before, and it was pretty aggressive when I had gone on it. And by a mile away from when we all grouped together and took off again, within the first mile, I was like, oh shit, this is another. There was a washout there, Jose, that...
Yes, Scott almost took his family for a ride down into the ravine, man.
Yes. There was a washout. Yeah. There was 2 washouts. The first washout, I was able to get almost everybody through. And then Dave kept going, and I'm watching Dave climb up this rocky ledge thing, and he's on the radio like, I don't know, man. I don't know if this is a good idea for everybody. So then Kevin comes up, and Kevin's like, how do you feel about splitting the group up into 2 groups? I'm like, how do you feel, Kevin? so
that was just his way of saying, like, dude, I'm going to do this.
Yeah, Kevin was like, I want to go up that hill. We need to figure out how to make it happen. So we did. We split the group, and the more aggressive group went up that hill with Joey D and Dave and Matt and Casey and Susan, and I forget who else was there. And then I led the other group back, which ended up being eventful anyways. We kind of, because we didn't have a path back, so we thought we would try to find one, and we ended up on this ledge, and we had to turn around, and it was pretty. We eventually made our way back to the service road and took that back into town, into the campsite. But Matt, since I didn't get to go, so since Matt took the group back the first day, I said, you go on this one, I'll take the group back this day. So Matt got to go do that trail. Tell me about it.
Dude, that was awesome. I mean, I took some pictures of some scenic views. So it was like same time frame, like it was near sunset.
Yeah.
And that was I don't want to say the toughest, like for that length of time, the amount of things that I had to take the Frontier over, that was pretty tough. It was, I'd say it's probably the toughest trail I've taken the truck on. And some of the views, again, like the rock formations and like the valleys, it was just super scenic. The funnest trail for sure I've ever been on. And it got to the point where the first few things, like Cody, you saw like the beginning, and it's like, oh man, you're definitely dragging. I drug my frame like a lot on that trip, on that trail.
And sorry to stop you right there, Matt, going back to what you said about Scott. So right around the corner from where we first got people through the washout, Scott was following with Dave, and all of a sudden they're on the radio. They're like, uh-oh, we got a problem here. Scott's hanging off the side. And apparently there was another washout that he didn't see and dropped the entire body of the 4Runner on. So the tire fell into the washout on the side of the cliff, and the frame was resting on the dirt, and he couldn't get his door open. He had to crawl out of the window to get out of his truck. And he's got his wife and his daughter in the car. And fortunately, Joey D was behind him, was still with us. So Joey rolled up, hooked him up, and pulled him back out with his winch.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was.
I thought it was Rich. I thought it was Rich that pulled him back.
Well, I know Joey went up there to do it. I didn't get to see who actually did the work. But that was when the decision was made. Okay, we need to split the group up.
Yeah, Billy had it right. Rich was behind him. So, but having talked to Scott, I think it was the night after or the next day or whatever. It's just before he left, he was explaining like how that happened, and he took his eyes off the trail for like a second. That's all it took. And he didn't take the correct approach angle or whatever it was to get through it. Because I went through it, and it wasn't like tough. It was just okay. I gotta stay right, and kind of take a specific angle. But it wasn't super tough. But he had lost focus. I think he was looking ahead. Either he was looking at the beautiful vista, or he was taking a look at to see what Sexy Dave was doing. But having seen the video and some photos, I think he was okay. It wasn't like he was gonna die or anything. But he did need to get pulled back out of this spot.
Yeah.
So
it's just a reminder that like you really got to be paying attention, especially on trails like that where it's tight and there's like no room for error or zero margin for error. Like you have to really like seeing your phone or like trying to answer a text message at that point. It's probably not the best time for that.
Yeah, for sure. So it took you guys a while to do that, man. Tell me.
Well, I'm sorry. I was just gonna say. So once that first couple of climbs, and you're like, oh, this is just gonna be a trail. There's gonna be a lot of dragging, and I'm gonna have to either accept some potential damage, or like kind of pick my poison if I'm gonna drag something. And then once you get maybe 40 minutes in or whatever, it was like, oh, you know what? This trail's going to work out. It's just going to be fun. And I kind of relaxed and enjoyed it a bit more. But definitely beautiful scenery and lots of cool, everybody kind of helped each other out. There was a spot because there was some side-by-sides back there. A dude, some crotchety old man, and his buddy in a Canadian tuxedo, just all denimed out. I think it was Kevin got on the radio and said, hey, Matt, come get your grandpa. He's up here. He's crotchety. Because there's like, this was probably 80% of the way through. If you're coming up from the highway, that would be really tough. It's like a wall. I mean, like a 5 or 6 foot wall of rock that drops down. And so we were all taking our time. And Casey and Rich did a kick-ass job guiding everybody through safely because it was like a very specific way down. Otherwise, it's 3 foot drop here or there. It really had to be a balanced and calculated descent. So hold on. This old prick's back there like, I do this all the time. And Kevin comes up and he's like, yeah, well, they don't. Like, what does that mean? He's telling us, get out of the way, whatever. It's a crotchety old man.
And so, real quick, so Matt mentioned balance. So we forgot to mention that when we woke up on Saturday, Tim's Jeep had a flat tire.
Oh, that's right.
So
yeah.
we there was a slash in the side of the tire, and we speculated that the person left at 4 o'clock or 5 o'clock in the morning may have slashed the tire on the way out because of the comments that were made. I don't think that's what happened, but again, we speculated. But the funny thing was that Tim was like, you know what? It's already the drive shaft's all messed up. It's already making noise. I'll just ride with Matt. So when Matt talks about balance, there was a period of time where when we went through this wash, if Tim wasn't in the car, there's a good chance Matt would have rolled, but he had the equal counterbalance on the other side of the vehicle to keep everything. So that Frontier, I'm really impressed with the payload capabilities of the Frontier.
Yeah, the truck had no problems. And in hindsight, we got back to camp. When we finished the run, we took the highway back to camp. And everybody was like pretty pumped. It was a fun trail. But I think everybody could have done it. I mean, there was Shay did it in his stock rig. Like,
yeah, I don't
Shy.
Yeah, I don't think that there was. In all honesty, I agree, man.
But he's a tactician.
Yes.
So,
yeah. But I think everybody could have done it. I think it was whether or not people wanted to take the challenge. That was the first thing. And think about the size of the group that split off and how much longer it would have taken to get through if those additional 10 vehicles were on that trail. You know what I mean? It would have been a lot more. But I think that we're fortunate that we had the option. Who wants to go this way? Who wants to go that way? And it worked out really well.
Another thing, there's a lot of experience on that trail. In our group, everybody there, like you said, Joey D, Shy, Rich, Billy, everybody in that group kind of knew how to handle that, most of the obstacles. So it was fun. It was really, and if you were new or hadn't had a ton of experience, this is the perfect trip for you because then you get a lot of you absorb. Or you see I'm a 100% believer in, especially coming from dirt bikes. That's how you pick up experience. That's how you learn is you ride or drive with people that have a higher level of experience than you. And you pick that up and you go, oh, I see how, that approach angle. And so this really was a really, I keep saying fun trip, but man, it was really cool riding or wheeling with that much experience for sure.
And everybody in the group was willing to help out everybody else.
Gummy bears to all of those guys.
Gummy bears to you, sir. You can insert them yourselves. So you
do whatever you want with them.
So they finally made it back to camp. And then so now circling back to my conversation with the young couple at the steeple, and as we were getting back to camp, I stopped at the store to get dinner for the night. And when I came back to camp, they were on the side of the road, got on the radio. Yeah, they're good. So we get back to camp. I get back to camp. They show up 10, 15 minutes later, and they walk up, and she says, "Are you going to ask him?" And I said, "Ask me what?" And he said, "What's your schedule like next year? and she showed me the ring. So they got engaged.
That's crazy.
They got engaged on the trip. I mean, I felt really good. I felt, because I legitimately felt bad. I legitimately felt bad about the comment I made earlier. So it kind of all worked out. I don't know that I'm off the hook entirely, but they got engaged on the trip, and it was super, like, I was so happy for them. It was an awesome moment. And then, so that was Saturday night. So Saturday night, we all just kind of made dinner. We sat around the campfire and chatted and told stories again. And
are we boring you?
I'm sorry, dude. It's hitting me. It's hitting me right now. So
Yeah.
then we did the raffle Friday night. So the thought was we did the raffle Friday night so that, people didn't have to stick around Saturday night. We did the raffle Saturday night so people didn't have to stick around Sunday. And we raffled off a sleeping bag from Iron Man 4x4, a gift card from White Knuckle, some shower pouch stuff, a Icon hat, sweatshirt, and gift card and tool bag and gift card for like $100 off stuff. Air Down Off Road gave a gift card. I think that's it. And so we had, by that time, some of the people had already packed up and left or didn't make it, and so a lot of people got the opportunity to win something on top of the swag that they already got, and then, which we'll talk about in a minute. And then Sunday was a super mellow. Everybody woke up, just started breaking down on their own. Some people that had it easy broke down and were out by 8:00. Others took us a while to get going, but we packed up and we were out of there 10 o'clock maybe. And because by the time we got to McDonald's, it was 10 o'clock California time. By the time we got to McDonald's, they were doing lunch. So I didn't get to my McDonald's breakfast. We got some McDonald's, hit the road, and took off all the way home with very limited issues on the way home. It worked out great. I do want to thank the sponsors, the people that participated. And so looking back at this, the swag bag ended up being freaking awesome in the grand scheme of things. So we got, and this is Jose's swag bag, by the way, since you're not here. So, and I forgot.
I don't even feel like I deserve to wear that Trail Chaser shirt. I wasn't there.
You paid your money. And I want to say thank you to Scott and his family. So Scott got us Christmas presents that we got to open.
Yes.
I will show you the Christmas present that I got next week. It's in the laundry someplace. Matt got a Christmas present. There's one here for you, Jose, when you get here. So thank you, Scott. Okay. It was super cool.
Awesome.
So we got Baja Forged t-shirt. You can see the one Matt is wearing right now. Bunch of Baja Forged stickers. We got White Knuckle stickers, Nexen stickers. There are masks from Icon. There are a Nexen air freshener, Icon koozie, Iron Man keychain, Icon koozie.
I'd just like to say that me and Tim put that Icon or that Nexen air freshener to the test on Saturday.
A shower pouch, Icon chapstick, a couple Icon chapsticks, Icon mouse pad, which is in my office, by the way. Everybody got raffle tickets for the raffle in their registration. Let's see, there's some more stickers in here from Iron Man and Icon. So Icon stickers, another Iron Man sticker. The other, you didn't get a hat, Jose, but the other participants got an Iron Man hat because we ran out of those.
That's fine.
And then we got some new Trail Chaser stickers printed, so those are good to go. The limited edition Trail Chaser Expedition stickers that commemorate the event for this year, and the Trail Chaser Winter Expedition shirt that you can only get if you win on the trip.
Hence, I shouldn't get that shirt.
And they were made by the guys over at Air Down Off Road. They made the shirts for us. They did a fantastic job. I am super.
You know what? They give good shirts. Like
Yeah.
I'm super pumped that's like not one of those internet.
No.
You buy a shirt and it's like you can practically
see through it.
Yeah, like I was like, oh man, because I really like that logo. You didn't really explain it, but it shows like it has like the Arizona flag kind of incorporated into it.
Yeah. So
right?
as we do more of these, we'll make more logos. So this is kind of the new Trail Chaser Expedition logo, the hexagon there. So for every one of our events, our goal is to have a sticker and shirt with this type of logo and the name of the shirt, and then the back of the shirt will be a custom design based on the actual trip.
Based on the trip.
So in this one, you see inside the circle with right above the TC Mountains is the Arizona flag, essentially the star with the rays.
Right, for the sunsets and whatever that was happening.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So it's got the Trail Chasers Expedition and Trail Chasers podcast and the name of the Winter Expedition, Parker, Arizona, December 11th through 13, 2020, presented by Icon and Nexon. So, the goal is to do more of these, and I'll
tell you, I can't wait to do it again. If it's hammers, if we're going to do the 4 things a year, we could take this same exact group and it would be amazing.
Yeah. And I'm going to be completely honest right now. So as you guys know, I started a new job, and the new job has a lot of responsibilities. And for the last 2 weeks with the new job and this event coming up, I've been pretty stressed out. Like I've been really trying to figure out how to make it all work. And there was a part of me that was like, okay, well maybe, the events are too much or whatever. I needed this trip. I needed to get out there and spend some time with you guys. And I had some amazing conversations with a couple of the people there about the ability to explore and off-road and camp with like-minded people, and having the ability to connect and make friends. And, there are people that were on this trip that didn't know each other that I'm sure will be following each other, texting each other, going on their own runs together. And that was that's what this was about. That's what Trail Chasers was to begin with. And I really kind of needed that, that reinvigoration of the meaning of what we do. And that was just a great group of people. And it really just inspired me to continue to find ways to do this. And I don't know what that's going to look like in the future.
I'll granola bars, gummy granolas to you for putting a great job. Everything worked out great. And I said, because your tummy was feeling bad or something the day before or that day. And I'm like, dude, it's because you're wound up. You're all stressed out. You got your new job. And then you're worried about making sure everything is in place for this event. And, the curveball with the camping location and all that other stuff, I'm sure was compounding and, making things even worse for you. But I told you, everything's going to be fine. Like, well, it's the desert. We'll find a place to camp and we'll hit those trails and everything will be great. Because you usually do a pretty good job of organizing and making sure everybody's there. So
yeah, that was a big part of it. Usually I've got the itinerary just dialed in, and I do that so that I don't have to panic. But I had to kind of go Matt on this one and just kind of roll with it. And even as late as Friday, originally the plan was to do the bar on Friday because we thought the bar was going to be open. We switched it on the fly and went out to Swansea, and it worked out. And everybody was fantastic and flexible, and just being able to sit down and have conversations with some of those people, it was amazing. I spent a lot of time talking to Mark and Rich and Gary, and I feel like I was able to sit down and have at least one conversation with everybody on the trip, like one-on-one, and just, again, it was like a shot in the arm. It was like, oh man, this is why we're here. This is what we're doing. And I am
so hammers. Let's run it back. Let's get everybody back out there, and let's do it again.
Well, we have well, so to close out this trip, thank you to everybody that came. Thank you to everybody that helped, because it was a group effort, and it was my favorite trip. And I say that every time, but this was my favorite trip that we've ever done, just because it just. I think we're getting to the point now where we've got it dialed in, and it was fantastic, and the group that we had was fantastic. So with that said, we had talked in the past about hammers, and that's coming up soon, very soon. And so,
a month, right?
End of January.
End of January.
2 months.
Yeah, end of January.
So 1 month and a half. So, I will make an effort to reach out to Icon this week to see if they're going to do the same type of event that they're going to do. Casey found, it looks like Trigger Controllers got something going on out there. Rory from Trigger Controllers got something going on. I don't know if that's going to be like a thing in collaboration with Icon, or if he's taking that on by himself. But either way, we could definitely, Matt, to your point, we could definitely find a place to camp and fill that campsite up with 20, 30 vehicles, no problem.
We could go bigger, a larger group as far as the camping area. If we take the Icon location as an example, right? And we're a couple of miles out of Crazy Town, and we could just take, here's our spot, everybody. When we go to, I think we would have to, when we go, okay, we're going to Chocolate Thunder, we got to split up that group, and the other group go to Backdoor, and things like that.
Yeah, and Perry
split up a little.
Perry's making I agree with that. So Perry made a comment in the chat.
Lesson learned from this trip. It actually worked out splitting up.
Yeah, that the Rocklander. So Billy is trying to take credit that it's no coincidence that my first trip with you guys was your best trip. I don't know that. Billy, it was our best trip in spite of you being there. Perry was talking about hammers, and that they're talking about COVID test at the gate and all that stuff, and I'm sure that's the Hammertown part.
Yeah, I never went through any gates.
Yeah,
at Hammertown.
So when we talk about hammers, we're basically saying we're going to be in Johnson Valley right about the same time they're doing some racing out there. So we'll look into that piece of it. If we wanted to go, I'm assuming if we wanted to go out to Backdoor to watch the cars come through, how are they going to test people, right? I mean, it's the middle of the desert. I don't know how they would do that. The test is probably for Hammertown, which if we didn't go into Hammertown, I'd be okay with, right? We talked about that. It's nuts there. So the first piece would be determining how we're going to make it happen from a camping perspective, like what location. So we'd have to scope out a location that we can take out, and are there permits involved and what have you. And I agree, Matt. I agree that if we could go up to 30 people, 30 rigs at the campsite, no problem. It's wide open. And then we would just say, okay, there's Group A and Group B. And today Group A is going over here and Group B is going there, or you leave now and you leave later, or whatever. But there's plenty of room out there to go wheeling. And we don't even have to do group stuff. We could, half the group can go do their own thing if they wanted to.
Yeah, it's just, we'll have a base camp, and if people want to come and go as they please, that's fine.
Yeah. So the three of us will have some conversations offline to see what that means. The other piece of it is, I don't know what my time off situation is going to look like then. So it might, I might not be able to go out till later. I guess to wrap it up, we've been going for an hour and 20, which is interesting because I kind of thought we'd just do a recap. I didn't realize we went that long, and then we're going to tack the Kevin Jones interview on top of this. So, the closeout is freaking epic, man. This was an epic trip. It was so much fun, and And I'm tired. I felt good this morning. I went to bed early last night. I felt good this morning, but I'm dragging right now. Like I can feel it. I think just a little bit of a jet lag, if you will. I cannot thank the people that came on this run enough. So going back to like Tim, for example, like we just ran into Tim. How you doing, man? And we just moved. Like we just talked as if we were best friends. Kevin Jones. Like I spent a lot of time talking to Kevin and his wife. Just the coolest people on the planet. Just super genuine, decent people. Go over and follow Ultra 4 Jones right now. Go over, follow him, send him a DM, and tell him that you are following him because the Trail Chasers told you to do so. Because in the interview, I had made a commitment that we were going to do some kind of contest somehow to help increase his followers. And I just now remembered that. So I don't know what that looks like. So at some point,
a calendar.
No calendar. So I'm either going to clip in the details of the contest or something in the interview or do it after this. I don't know yet. Please, people, regardless of whether or not you get a sticker or something, please go follow Kevin. It's going to help him out a lot. You'll hear his story and him building up his Ultra 4 truck. But just, genuine, decent people that came out to hang out with us, and I loved every minute of it. And so thank you guys for coming. Jose, you were sorely missed, man. People were asking about you all weekend long. Everybody was bummed that you weren't there.
I was getting messages like from different people saying like, dude, missed you out here, but I'll be out there on the next one, dude. This was bad timing on my part for this one.
Yeah, I had trouble with my signal, so I didn't send you a message. But I didn't want to send you a message either. I just didn't want to bum you out anymore.
Yeah, so it was like a double-edged sword, right? Like,
yeah.
I'm glad I got those messages, but at the same time, it's like I'm still not there.
Yeah.
But no, those messages were awesome, dude. And Matt left.
Matt in the chat room said his computer died.
But yeah, dude, it sucked. This was a trip I was looking forward to for weeks. But hey, it happens. Life happens, I guess.
Life happens. It sucks, but yeah, you'll definitely be there on the next one.
Yep.
So everybody, thank you guys again. Thank you guys for joining us and being on the trip. Thank you guys for coming in the chat room and sharing with us. We couldn't ask for a better group of people to hang out with on Monday nights and on the trail. So we really do appreciate it, and we will be figuring out what the next run looks like and when and how it'll all happen, and hopefully we can get more people out there. So thank you guys so much. We're going to end the live feed now. You have a great night, and talk to you next week.
Thanks, guys.
All right. Yeah, Matt said his computer died, so hopefully he'll find the power cord and plug it back in. Let's see. Mud Raider's been in there ripping on me all night. I appreciate that. Jeremy, we didn't do the Ultra 4 Jones interview tonight. We did it on the trail, so we'll clip that in here for the podcast. You'll have to listen to that. Mark, thanks for coming. Let's see. Billy, thanks for hanging out in the chat room tonight. Appreciate it. And yeah, dude, you were a rock star on the trip. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Adam's in here, dude. Adam is rock solid. He and I just got a chance to sit and chat for a while. That was cool. Scott was there with his family. I appreciate it. Everybody, again, Tim and Gary and Scott and everybody that was there, dude. It couldn't have been better. Susan was great. Oh, we didn't even talk about Casey and Susan's fucking ridiculous tent.
Dude, every time they come out, it's bigger and bigger, the tent they have.
So let me tell you about this fucking tent. So they show up with like an 8-man tent, and apparently there's a problem with it. I don't know what it was. So they go into town and buy a 12-person tent. Jose, a 12-person tent. Like,
why? Why so big?
Because I don't know. I don't know. And so they get there. They bring this 12-person tent. They get it all set up, and it's missing a pole. They can't even finish the setup. And so they stay in it. And at one point, Billy's brother shows up, and he looks over there, and he's all, hey, how many fucking people are in that tent?
3.
And I was like, yeah, exactly. And then so because it was broken, they go back to Walmart to return it, and Walmart's like, no, we don't take returns on any camping gear. Like, you can exchange only. So Casey's fighting with them and ends up having to go. He couldn't return it, so he has to exchange it, and he gets the same big ass tent. And it's dumb. It's dumb sauce. I don't understand why. And I told him, and you're right. This is like the third big ass tent they've purchased, and every one of them they've been unhappy with.
Well, they just keep getting bigger, dude. It's just gonna be eventually like a fifth wheel. They're gonna be pulling behind.
No, dude, it's gonna be like those movies like Hidalgo or like Game of Thrones where they go onto the battlefield and they've got those giant circus canopy,
those canvas
circus tents with like servants in the middle. That's what they're going for right there.
That's their ultimate goal.
It's dumb sauce. It's
for 3 of them.
It's absolutely ridiculous. And yeah, the amount of money they've spent on the 3 or 4 12-person tents, they could have bought a rooftop tent at this point.
Exactly. It's funny, dude.
All right, everybody in the live stream. And Casey, you don't blame it on your wife. Do not blame it on your wife. It's
Casey's like, a fifth wheel would be a step down compared to this tent.
Yeah, exactly. Dude, the tent was ginormous. Like it had 2 rooms. You could put a breakfast nook in it. It was dumb.
Oh my god.
So, all right, everybody in the live feed, we're going to end the stream and finish up. So you have a great night. We'll talk to you guys later.
All right, everybody in the live later, guys. And finish up. So you have a great night. We'll talk to you guys later. All right.